chemicals that we are bombarded with every day and the hidden sources that you would never ever expect. So today what I want to talk to you guys about is your car making you sick? This is a really good point. How many of you have gotten in your car before and you smelled that smell, that new car smell? Some of you probably really like that, right? Because you associate that with new car. What if I told you that that could actually be toxic gases from the manufacturing process being released into the car? Would you still feel good about that? And would you still feel good if I told you that those toxic gases could be mutagenic, promoting mutation of your cells? Or if I told you that they were determined to be, some of those chemicals were determined to be carcinogenic, would you still feel good about that new car smell? Because me, when I get my car cleaned, first of all, there are no scents or fragrances put in my car, ever. Because those are all artificial chemicals and that smell is not natural. Okay, number one. Number two, your car, one of the ways that you need to minimize your exposure to this is by rolling down all the windows, especially if the car's hot, because that off-gassing and the heating of those plastics and the foam rubber and the carpet with the formaldehyde on it and some of these other things that are off-gassing into the car, if you roll down the windows, it lets it ventilate. Okay? Very important. Guys, we are being poisoned and you don't even know it. Well, this is an epidemic. This is a problem that no one is really aware of. There are ideas that we're being exposed to chemicals at high levels, but the full impact is not understood, and we are not the first civilization to have been poisoned. The Romans, it happened with them first with their aqueducts. They put lead lining, bringing the water in, and that was one of the contributing factors. They were being poisoned by lead. They didn't even know it. Today we have 800,000 environmental and industrial chemicals that are contributing to the poisoning of our population, of our parents, our grandparents, our children, and our babies before they're even born. I'm going to tell you guys, you can learn all about that and more details on that and how to detoxify that on our coming webinar, which is going to be the True Cellular webinar here, hashimotosdoctor.com/TCD. And it's going to be, I'm telling you, I'm going to cover some information that's going to blow your mind, especially as it relates to the thyroid. How chemicals are disrupting the thyroid physiology. It's so many ways and so much new information I've been exposed to just recently that I can't wait to share with you guys. So make sure you join me there and make sure you register before the spots fill up. So, is your car making you sick? Did you know that formaldehyde could be off-gassing in your car? That's right, what I just mentioned, that off-gassing. When the sun hits the car, or even if the car is not old enough to where a lot of the off-gassing has stopped, then a new car will just be off-gassing because it's new and because those chemicals are in higher concentrations there. Now, when the sun hits it, you know how the car, sometimes you get in the car and it's hot and it's kind of got this different smell to it. That's probably off-gassing unless you drop French fries. And hopefully you're not doing that because just anyway. Your kids haven't dropped food in there, right? If you have children. But the point here is that these chemicals, they when they get hot and the plastics get hot, they off-gas these chemicals. And what ends up occurring is that you have this buildup. And if you open the door and get in, then you are trapped with those chemicals and you're breathing them, you're inhaling them, they're absorbing into your bloodstream. Okay? This is really important, guys. Very important stuff. So roll down the window so it can air out and then get in the car. Open the door and leave the door open so it can the gases can get out of the car. Okay, number one. Now, this is a huge issue because formaldehyde is used in the manufacturing of cars. We know it's a problem. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classified it as a human carcinogen. This means it causes cancer. The health effects are things that you'll see more, some of these are immediate, some of these are going to be delayed. Respiratory irritation. It's known to be an irritant to the mucous membrane, the linings of your respiratory tract. It's also known to increase sensitization. So you'll see like reactive reactions, skin reactions, dermatitis are also, it causes an immune response. So that's also something that occurs. It's carcinogenic, meaning that prolonged exposure could predispose you to cancers. It's mutagenic, meaning that prolonged exposures can predispose you to mutations of biological processes of the cells. And it increases the incidence of infectious disease. So it predisposes you to infectious disease, which means it has an immune impact. And what we know is, again, like with a lot of these environmental chemicals, one of the main mechanisms that they occur is that they bind with your human tissue. That new human tissue plus the environmental chemical like the formaldehyde, when they stick together, they look different than anything that the immune system has ever seen. So the immune system thinks it's foreign, attacks it, and then that attack against that new bound human tissue plus the formaldehyde, that thing that was called a hapten that your immune system sees and doesn't recognize, could result in an immune response and promote autoimmunity. So this is a huge issue. And how do we check for it, right? How do we check for it? Guess what? All of these chemicals are very difficult to test for unless you're talking about acute exposures, recent, within a few days exposures. Very difficult to test for because they bind to the tissues. And when they're bound to the tissues of your body, how are you going to test for them? You can't. They're not in the blood. They're not in the urine. They're not eliminated in the stool. And so it's very difficult to test for them. So a lot of times we've just turned our head and said, well, it's probably not an issue. But the fact is it's a huge issue, and it's becoming more and more and better well known within the research. Like I was just reviewing the research that I'm going to be sharing on our webinar coming up. You guys definitely come and join us. And it was mind-blowing. The stuff that I'm being exposed to and that I'm learning, and I specifically focused on the thyroid. So if you guys are interested in the thyroid or autoimmunity and how these chemicals are affecting it and how do we detox it, you've got to join me here. The really interesting thing too is, like, where do you find formaldehyde? When I was doing some research, you find it in auto interiors, which we talked about, fabrics and synthetic carpet, especially permanent pressed fabrics, non-wrinkle fabrics, and synthetic carpets. They use it as a stiffener. It's unbelievable. So imagine you get this new rug that you lay out at your home and your kids get on it and just roll around on it. Do you think that might have all kinds of, treated with flame retardants, which are other chemicals we're going to talk about, not today, but formaldehyde and other things? You bet it is, because there are laws in place that say it cannot ignite. It has to have these chemicals on it so it does not ignite quickly. Right? Just like baby's clothing, same thing. So it's on fabrics, it's in glues, it's in particle board and plywood. They use it in all these manufacturing processes. It's in paper coatings. Even I saw something that said it was in wax paper. And the thing I'm not sure about, and I'm just going to be blown away if it's in, is it in the parchment paper and the things that we use to cook with? If so, that would be unbelievable. But it's in paper coatings, and they did say wax coatings. So is that a wax coating? It's a different application than cooking? That wasn't a differentiation there, so I'm not sure. But this is, guys, we are being poisoned. These chemicals are everywhere in our environment, and we have to, first of all, become aware that they're there. Number two, we have to know where they're coming from so that we can try to remove our exposure. Number three, we have to take active steps to detoxify these things from our body in a safe way. 98% of detoxes out there are not effective. Probably 50% of them are going to be actually harmful because they're going to pull these things out of the tissues, not truly bind to them, not truly eliminate them, and they're going to redistribute somewhere else in the body. So we've got to do it the right way, and that's what I'm going to be talking about on the webinar. But guys, I hope that this has helped you to become better educated so that you can be your own advocate. Because it's my mission to change one person's life at a time so that we can change their family, their community, and ultimately the world. And I want to do that by helping you guys to become more educated, become your own advocates, so that you can be better partners with your healthcare providers, and you can take your health back. You can be an active participant. No longer do you sit on the sidelines and say, I'm sick or I have a problem, and I have no knowledge of why or what I can do about it. I believe that the body is meant, the power that made the body heals the body. And if you can remove the things that are interfering with the body's physiological processes and health, the body will heal itself. And that's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to teach you guys on how to heal yourself. Let's do this. Let's do this the best that we can, right? We've got all of these challenges. And I'm going to be talking for the next few weeks a lot about environmental chemicals and a lot about where they are, what you can do. And you've got to join me. June 8th is when we're going to have the first webinar on this. And I say the first, and it may be the last one for 1 month or 3 months. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to be talking about testing and a lot of different ways that you're going to be able to, we can assess toxicity in the body. Some cutting edge tests that we can do. And we're going to be looking at taking a group of, like the way that my office has changed is that instead of trying to work with every single person. I had to decide, first of all, for balance with my life, with my family life, and making sure that I uphold the obligations that I have as a father and a son and someone in our community that needs to be here and making a difference. I can't work 80 hours a week. So what I'm doing is we're going to work with groups of 30 people, and it's either going to be on a monthly or every 3-month basis. And I'm going to still work with people one-on-one, but it's going to be much more limited, and people are going to have to do a lot of testing so that we're not doing trial and error. I can't do that. I don't have time to do it. I would love to help people that way, but I can't do that. So we're going to work with people in groups, and I'm going to work with people one-on-one, maybe 1 to 2 per month. That's it. That's all I'm taking, but you're going to have to get testing. So you're going to have to be committed to doing whatever I ask you to do. You're going to have to be ready to get a significant amount of testing so we can investigate root drivers of the process, and that's just what I have to do. That's what I have to do to be there for my children and to do the best for you too, because quite frankly, so many people, they don't get the results they should because they don't do the testing they need. But what we're going to be talking about is testing on understanding these chemicals. In our webinar, we're going to be talking about, I'm going to take a core group of 30 people through. So we've got some exciting stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you guys that I've never shared. So if you go here and you opt in to just share your email with us, we'll notify you as soon as the registration is available for the webinar. Then you'll have to go and register. Guys, there's only 500 spots available. I don't think I have to tell you, but those will be filled up very quickly. So I'm excited to share this with you guys because I think this is the missing piece. We're going to be talking about dietary strategies to help with this because the dietary strategies are different than anything you've heard about. The detoxification processes are brilliant, and I've got some great stuff to share with you guys. So I'm so excited, and I want you guys to know that I'm excited for you because I think this is such a huge issue of the chronic diseases that we're seeing today in our society and around the world. So please go there, join me for the webinar, and guys, as always, thank you so much for being here, and please help us help other people. Share this message. If you found value in this, then please share it so that we can help other people because no one else is going to be hearing about this. No one else is going to be teaching this. And we just, we need to change the world, and the only way we can do that is together as a community. So you guys are now part of a community of people that are actually pioneering, true health. And that's what I'm trying to do, is to help you guys help yourself. So anyway, appreciate you spending time with me today. Can't wait to talk to you guys again tomorrow because I've got some super exciting information to share with you, and just look forward to talking to you guys again soon. So please share your questions and comments, share this with other people, and join me again tomorrow. We'll shoot for around 11 a.m., okay, guys? So again, talk to you soon. Have a great, great day. Hey guys, Dr. Shook, thank you for viewing our videos. I hope they help you out. If you want to, just subscribe to our channel somewhere here. You can watch a video that YouTube's actually selected for you, so hopefully it'll help you out. If you need any other information or resources, just look in the description. We've got links to our website, to our 9 lab test guidebook, and everything else that we do. I really appreciate you, and I hope you guys have a great